Cuba is a small communist island country, located just 60 miles southwest of Key West, Florida. It is in the middle of Hurricane Alley, which is often the acceleration path for hurricanes entering the Gulf of Mexico. Due to its geographical location and impoverished status, hurricanes, flooding, mudslides, and droughts are the most prevalent of disasters to afflict Cuba. Earthquakes had ravaged Cuba many years ago, but it has been so long there is some fear of complacency. However, the recent devastation in Haiti and Chile has aroused Cuba's interest to rethink its preparedness policies regarding earthquakes. If asked what disasters have Cuba planned for, I would suggest that hurricanes are the biggest threat in Cuba. However, their disaster management program is ready to respond to all threats, both foreign and domestic. To understand the rationale behind Cuba's evolved disaster management system, we must first understand the underpinnings of its social and structural fiber. The National Defense Law states that its military doctrine is focused on the prevention of war by proper preparation. It further states that the United States' proximity and hostile policy shape the concept of a struggle of Cuba as a small country with limited economic development, and determine the adoption of an autochthonous territorial defense system. So what is this territorial defense system? It's a system that allows Cubans to be in a perpetual state of readiness. Whether it's a war or a natural disaster, the people will mobilize and perform well-rehearsed procedures. Similar to the Soviet mentality pre-Glasnost, Cuba's mission statement is telling and relies on the nationalistic pride and the socialist dream of victory over the capitalists. They enslave their people, manage their meager rations, and control every aspect of their lives. As an example, if Cubans display any signs of anti-communist subversion, such as being unemployed or drunk, they can be jailed for dangerous anti-revolutionary behavior. The Cuban state has a very poor record in the area of disaster reconstruction, recovery, and mitigation. Its record is much better when it comes to certain features of disaster preparedness and response. The claim that the rest of the developing world should emulate the Cuban model ignores its basis in the unique structural organization features of Cuban society that may not be present in these other countries. What Cuba has is a type of integrated warning system composed of an effective meteorological agency, a powerful civil defense agency, a state-run mass media, and a number of other state mass organizations that cooperate effectively in responding to the demands created by severe storms. Rather than copying this system, the real question is how to effectively coordinate these generic parts of the system of disaster response without adopting the highly centralized and authoritarian features of Cuba's political and social life that generate a number of other vulnerabilities. The fascinating thing about Cuba is that their disaster management program is a well-honed system that encompasses an entire civilization. The socialist principles, with minimalist and top-down thought processes, command a bottom-up response consistent with their socialist beliefs. According to Shute and Silkwood, there are three philosophical benefits of this autocratic society. First of all, the level of preparedness necessary to affirm that all Cubans are aware of risk and abide by established protocol. Secondly, the assurance of property protection and the security this provides. Finally, the level of importance placed on humanity, which greatly surpasses the value of property. Disaster management is organized from the top down, but enacted from the bottom up in a controlled and rehearsed effective manner. This, of course, is due to its unique control of society. From education to two-day drills involving everybody, typically the milling process is usually kept to a minimum, due to the fact that the government's infiltration into the lives of the everyday citizens is profound. This sinister benefit is perhaps the secret to Cuba's success with disaster. Rumors are minimal and inconsequential, as the local political leaders have complete authority and rehearsed updates. The established norm is mandated as the resilient veteran society works together harmoniously. Cuba's legal framework is one of its keys to assets in risk reduction. The country's disaster mitigation, preparedness, response, and recovery measures and structures are enshrined in law, and those laws are enforced. The Cuban people are controlled and managed through a social structure that is rife with state-created organizations like the Committees for Defense of Revolution, the Federation of Women, etc., that all is incorporated into the daily lives of its citizens. Risk and vulnerability studies are broken down into three categories: natural, sanitary, and technological. All data is collected in a standardized way and distributed to the territorial and national authorities. The Cuban alert system issues a warning 72 hours before a storm approaches. This mentally prepares the population. Evacuations begin within 48 hours of impact. Special attention is paid to the elderly, handicapped, and pregnant women. Children are sent home from school, and last-minute harvestable items are gathered. 24 hours before the strike, all areas are evacuated and shelters are stocked with medicine and subsistence supplies. Additionally, these centers are staffed with doctors and nurses, and even delivery capabilities for expecting mothers. Personal items are carefully logged and accounted for. The government guarantees the replacement of loss of damaged property, so there's no worry of looters or villains taking possessions. Pets and animals are tended to as well. Cubans are well educated relative to the expectations of their government. After the hurricane is passed, the government performs a damage assessment and material damages are repaired or replaced. Disasters have provided a way for Cuba to shine amidst its criticisms for being a totalitarian state. It is with a sense of nationalistic pride which the Cuban people can cling to as a corrupt, self-serving government acclaims its disaster management program as evidence that socialism works. Perhaps it does, or at least it unifies an enslaved public who are already incredibly connected. Disasters and promise of incursion resulting in disasters are strong superficial motivators. Regardless of the reasons, their system is strong. Disaster provides a resilient, educated population who truly believe they can sustain a direct attack from an invader, whether by man or Mother Nature. This is in direct line with their justification of a controlled environment. Cuban authorities claim that this is proof that their model is correct. One thing they have achieved is to mobilize an immediate response from the moment a disaster strikes by the civil society. This amazing decrease in response time has profound effects on expectations and real results. While Cuba's record relative to response and preparedness are fantastic, remember its recovery, mitigation, and reconstruction efforts are dismal at best.